Career Dynamics. I'm your host Durgeshwari, and for today's guest we have Professor Moumita Das. She is not only a prolific writer, author and editor, but she's also in the teaching industry where she teaches media literacy and media laws and ethics. Let's welcome today's guest, Mrs. Moumita Das. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for today's interview, the field that we are choosing is print and digital journalism. It is a wide aspect, as we know, because the transition from print to journalism is something that we all aspire to know more about, and especially the career that we want to have. So let's discuss the first question and let's have a very good interactive session with her. Ma'am, for the first question, I would really like to know how your journey unfolded by choosing journalism and how did the story begin?
This is a long story, and to cut it short, it's a 20 years journey. Uh, I was in journalism for 8 to 9 years, and then the transition to academics was very natural choice. Okay, the point is, journalism happened accidentally with me. My first job was a banking job, and I was a marketing executive. And there, one of my clients, where I finished a deal, he said that you have such good oratory skill, such communication skill you have a convincing power. Why don't you try for media industry? I completed my master's from Jadavpur University in International Relations, and I was then in between decision that what I'll do next. Okay, so it really, I don't know how it struck with me, and I just enrolled myself with Bhavans in PG diploma in journalism. And while doing that, I loved it, I loved it. And I have always been a talkative girl during my school days. So naturally, talking was the thing, or communicating with someone else, it became very natural to me. So while doing my post-graduation diploma there, I cracked HT, Hindu Sun Times, my first job with the national publication. I would rather say I was fortunate enough to get a great team. My first boss was Anirban Chaudhuri, who later on became chief editor of 24 Ghanta, Z 24 Ghanta. He guided me, whatever I teach right now in classes, with journalism classes, how to develop sources, how to develop a story idea. I have been given that mentorship from Anirbanda. I still say Anirbanda. And he has guided me through those, time that how you ideate, how you, nurture contacts. And see, I am from Kolkata, okay. But still being in Kolkata, to know the, जैसे हम कहते हैं अलीगली, the bylanes of Kolkata, I was not aware of that. So journalism taught me many things, how to reach out to, I had so many good experiences during my HT days. After HT, I joined completely a different year, because in HT I used to do civic affairs mostly. In Times of India, Calcutta Times was entirely an entertainment industry. And those times, it was a year 2004-05. Calcutta Times actually started the journey of page 3 concept in Kolkata. So that was a time when the page 3 concept was brought in from, in Kolkata for the first time. So it was very exciting moment. We were a bunch of youngsters who were, working for day in, day out. Though it was a supplement, it is still a supplement. We had early deadline, like we release our paper around say 6 p.m. And it's a feature dish. You can understand that entertainment is a feature dish one, but still we had some guests coming in from Bombay, or international guests, and taking interviews and all. So it was then, after TOI, I joined Electronics for You. That was a national magazine, as a first electronic magazine in India. I was the Kolkata correspondent, heading from Kolkata, because no one was there. So it was work from home. It was entirely my And then I shifted to, I was doing the Exhibit. That was also a national publication, still is both running. They have taken up Top Gear as, the car industry. And till date, I would rather say with journalism, I had a wonderful journey. And then coming to academics in Kolkata, I have taught many colleges like Techno India, iLead, NSHM before joining in Adamas here as assistant professor. And till date, I can say it has been exciting, very learning. I'm still learning, learn through my students. That's it. I think I talked a lot with the first question.
No, it was very inspiring. And since you have spoken about electronic media, so how do you view the transition between print to digital? What is your point of view and the new aspects that digital journalism is bringing up in the field?
Yeah, so very good question. See, when I was doing daily newspaper, HT and Times was a daily newspaper.
Yes.
When I shifted to magazine, and they had both, like I was working from home. I'm talking about say 2006-7. So it was very early, and it was really onset of digital journalism. So it was like I have to do my interviews or events and then find my story at the end of the day. And every day I had to update with the news, with the feature we have to do it. So it was very transitioning because I belong to a generation where there was no internet. We had only one Doordarshan channel. That was the childhood we got. Okay, so transition was it was very smooth, and we were fortunate that we got to see the entire process of how the digital media came, and it became very natural. Like actually, you have to adapt with the time and the technology, how it onset, and you know whenever we have been very skeptical or apprehension of new medium, but I think digital is the time you have to have. Despite being a print journalist, you have to know, you have to be tech savvy, you have to know the social media, you have to know Insta, you have to know how to make a reel, you have to have the full package, you know, you have to be a full package to get industry ready. That's the most challenging thing that youngsters need to know. So yeah.
And speaking about challenges and youngsters, so what qualification does one require to pursue journalism? Because it is such a field that you have to know the crux of the industry. If you don't know the meaning or why journalism is required, nobody can pursue. And you also told that digital is growing fast. So how one can acquire those techniques and learn how to pursue journalism basically?
See, to pursue journalism, there are two questions that you have put it. To pursue journalism, you first and foremost, you need that curious mind. You need to have that quest for knowledge. You have to have that mind to know why and how, what happened. Okay, so that is the main skill that a person should have. Apart from the skills that you have saying that electronic or digital, that those are the skills that you can always upskill. Like you have to know the softwares and how to utilize it. The practice makes you perfect and all. The foremost point of journalism is to have an open mind to learn, to have an open mind to see, to observe people, to have a key for what to say, like observation skill, and to key for more details, to know beyond what is there, to not take something which comes to you on face value. So those are the basic individual skills that you need to have to be a good journalist. I think those are the very individual.
What qualification one needs to pursue journalism? It is being a wide aspect, and now we have shifted to digital, and it is growing fast. So the contrast of print and journalism, what one should have necessary qualifications or skills to pursue journalism?
See, to pursue journalism, one must need a curious mind. You have to have the quest for knowledge. You have to have an open mind to learn, and an observation skill to know what is there beyond, to not to take anything on face value, to go beyond it and go in deep search. That's the basic qualification skill that an individual need to be a journalist. And for you are asking for the digital medium or any medium, it's just like a tool. You have to upskill your with the times. You have to upgrade yourself with the software. You have to practice will make you perfect. But I think the main focus should be that how to nurture a mind which is a curious mind, to read a lot. Yes, you have to read a lot, you have to know about your surroundings, about your country, your state, and internationally, and be aware that what is going on, and to frame a mind of to have one's own observation that why it is happening, and to analyze in depth. So that for anywhere you go, see, the point is, you can ask that, journalists, they should be objective, that you have to have the objectivity in mind, but still every individual must have their own public or an opinion of any such event that is happening, or any such incident that is happening, very important incident, which you must have your own viewpoint. It can only be nurtured where you know that what is going on, the nitty-gritties of it, the history of it, and then you analyze what is right and what is wrong. Yeah.
Since you have spoken about history, so there is this interesting question that we would like to know. If you had been a reporter and during historical time, which event would you have been loved to cover and why?
Very interesting question. I would rather be part of the emergency, during Indira Gandhi's time. I'm a big admirer of Indira Gandhi, but I don't support the emergency at all. But why I want to be part of emergency times? Because those were the times which actually proved that what a journalist should do. Many journalists were arrested, many were jailed. Okay, so the quest for knowledge, the quest for reaching out to people, the quest for democracy, democratic rights, to freedom of speech and expression. Because I'm a teacher, I teach media laws and ethics to my students, and I think freedom of speech and expression actually, it's a epitome of democracy and our democratic ideals. So I think I would have been loved to be part of emergency and be, working journalist in those times. Yeah.
So, talking about emergency and the time, what would be the headline if you have given a chance to write an article of it? What would be your headline of emergency period?
Mm, that's really very tricky question. But it depends what actually I'm reporting. Like, if you know your history well, there was a time, especially during the emergency, the stories went to the police. They used to actually have gone through the each and every article, and they used to decide that which one will go and which one not. So I think I would rather go by the to have the blank space, because I don't think so the kind of headline I would have liked to given would we make to the headlines anymore. I would keep it that way.
Nice going. And ma'am, you have spoken about freedom of speech and expression. And the transition that we, our current generation, that is facing, do we have freedom of speech and expression in terms of stating facts? Because the shift from print to digital, there is this one flaw that the fact is not reaching to the people. It's always a debate between misinformation and disinformation. What is your view on it?
Yeah, I do agree with the the fourth. The media is called the fourth pillar of democracy, and media is the pillar. Why? Because it's the institution where it can ask question. That's the institution which will ask question to the legislature, to the executive, the judiciary. Unfortunately, I am not going to name any conglomerates, but there has been one single company, business enterprise, which has come out as the sole owner of the media industry. And when you have a conglomerate like in that stature, and which is pro-government, and only one company owning the entire fraternity of media, the story would never, and there would be no space to ask question. It is very trying times or difficult times for good journalism as such. But there are houses like Indian Express, Recently, I was, somebody sent me one clip of annual program of Indian Express where the chief editor is saying that you, in front of our Prime Minister, he was saying that you should always nurture the quest to ask question. The journalist should never ever forget to ask question. That is your right. That is the right of a democracy and a democratic principle of being a good journalist. So you have the scope. You have the scope. You see, the point is, you have always, I always believe that you have always the choice to say no. And choice, what your life goes, it's your choices. Your choices will make your life. I do believe in that. So you have always a choice to say no. If you don't want to compromise, leave it. Have an independent space where you can ask questions.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And this question is for our viewers. And since ma'am has said that journalist's job is to ask question, now it is your chance to ask us questions on which field next we should cover on. Bring into the comment section and let us know your opinion on that. Moving on towards our interview, I would like to know ki 20 years of experience in this field, and now you're covering journal post as a professor, you're overseeing journal post. How was your journey as for teaching field? Journalists, we have heard amazing stories. Now as a teacher, as a professor, how that journey unfolded?
See, I have been teaching since the age of 16. My first student, when I passed my class 10, that was the time. I remember my first student when I was age 16, and I love that. I always have taught students at my home, and it has very naturally come to me. I love to impart knowledge, especially to students would agree with across, I more than 10 years in teaching. I have always given them space to speak their mind. I think that I can only guide my students. I have given the space to express their minds, to interact, to discuss, to debate. I remember somebody, one of my students stood up and said something, some very offensive remark, and then later came to me that, ma'am, I'm sorry. But I took it as challenge. I really enjoyed each and every moment with my student. There had always been, see, I feel there are no bad students. There are only bad teachers. So I believe that. And you can always, nurture a student, and that is the challenge. If you can nurture a student who is not so good and bring up to that, that is a challenge a teacher should take up. I had a very wonderful journey till date, and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Now coming to the last question for the day, it is something that we would love to know, that is your journey of as a writer, and that to fiction. Being a journalist and writing a fiction is something that is a challenging job. So how was your journey began as a writer?
Yeah, it was very interesting actually. I had always thought to write something, fiction. Though you know that journalists don't write fiction; they only write non-fiction, real stories, and real people. It came to me. This was also an accidental. I just and it's in Bangla. It's my mother tongue. Though I have learned Bangla as third language, but it was really, I thought that if I would write, my first book would be in my mother tongue. Uh, Firstly, when I started writing the first, my name is this. The book is. I want to show this book to your readers. This is Shatkahon. Shatkahon means 7 episodes, and I travel a lot with my family, and each and every episode, 7 episodes have travelogues, and it's a story of a girl, her aspiration, her relationship, her tribulations in life, her choices in life. That I said, that what you are in life, that your choices will decide, and the feedback has been wonderful till date. I have reached out to my students, youngsters, and even of irrespective of ages, that the feedback of this book And second episode is round the corner. Actually, I'm not getting much time, but I still write on the second episode. That is the second plan. But writing fiction has been very exciting. The firstly, when I wrote the first draft, I sent two of my editor friends and asked them that give your honest, opinion, because I'm your friend. So they asked me that, don't make it the separate episode, separate stories. I was thinking that travelogue, I'll write the separate stories with a separate travelogues. But they asked me that no, you stick to the couple and the lady, and you yarn your story accordingly. And that really kept with me, and I think I have wrote in flat 2 weeks. I've wrote in flat 2 weeks, but I never thought it was for my blog. Firstly, I have a blog, Jhumpa Speaks, and I upload there and have shared it. And later on, I thought that why not bring it out as a book. So that's it. That's the Shat Kahuna for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful journey with Moumita Das. And now, for our last part, I would really like to tell you that journalism, especially in print and digital, it is not difficult once you know the skill, once you learn the skill, and once you perfect your skills. As we have seen the live example of Moumita Das, she was a journalist, she was a marketing executive, she is a professor teaching students of media laws and ethics and media literacy, and she has gone through field experiences. So journalism is just a field, but it is open to multiple opportunities. So, if you want to know more about different fields and different expertise, join us in this career dynamic shows. We are here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.